Welcome back. Folks, my first guest tonight is the 47th Vice President of the United States. Please welcome Vice President Joseph Biden.
Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
Thanks, John.
Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
Welcome back.
It's great to be back.
So nice to see you again.
Good to see you, pal.
Well, this is first time we've spoken on air in over a year, and it is the first television interview you've done since the election. Some people were shocked that night. Some people were quite surprised. What was that night like for you?
Well, I've been in a closet since then. I haven't come out. No. Look, it was disappointing, to state the obvious, but there were signs toward the end that this was going to be a lot closer than we thought. Mm-hmm. Hillary did get 2.5 million more votes, but the truth of the matter is. But by the way, this is fair and square one. We have an electoral system. We're a republic, and that's the way it works. But you know, I did a total of 84 campaign events for her, and toward the end, you could feel there was a change, because there was hardly any discussion about any issues in this campaign. And I remember getting off the plane. I guess I was going to Cleveland, and I was speaking to a large crowd, a couple thousand people, and I said, what really has me upset is that the fact is that the press has only covered these sort of outrageous assertions that have been made, and there was no discussion of the things that elections are supposed to be about, a referendum on ideas, and about what we're going to do about education or jobs or foreign policy. And I, you know, the campaign knew at that time that the concern was whether there was going to be enough turnout among millennials, and there was a concern about the states that, in fact, turned out very closely but went the other way.
Well, the last time you were here, you hadn't made up your mind yet as to whether you were going to run for president. And I asked you at the time, and you couldn't give me an answer at the time. And you've said that you have regretted every day not running. Was there a particular day or days? Because for me, it was November 9th, about 3 weeks ago. But was there a day in the last year that you went, you know, I wish I had jumped in?
Well, look, let me be clear about the regret. I know I made the right decision for my family. I know I made the right decision. I'm not sure I would have been able to put my whole heart into it. But what I regret is the circumstance that led me not to be able to run. Do I think that that's a terrible thing to say in many people's minds, but do I think I was best prepared at this moment to lead the country? I did. I mean, because I thought the issues that were of greatest concern were in my wheelhouse, things I've dealt with my whole career. So in that sense, I'm disappointed that I'm not going to be in a position to be making some of those decisions, but I don't regret the actual decision. The decision was the right decision for me to have made. And by the way, you know, I learned, you want to become the most popular guy in America, announce you're not running. Announce you're not running, and boy, everything moves, you know, in a direction.
Well,
who knows what would have happened had I run?
Well, we might find out, because yesterday you were on Capitol Hill, and you were asked by a reporter, are you going to run for office again? And you said, and I quote, sir, yeah, I am. I'm going to run in 2020. Reporter, for what? For president, you know, so what the hell, man?
Well, look, Stephen, I know I did that for one reason, so I could announce now I'm not running and be popular again. I mean, because I
So there's no way? You didn't mean that? What the hell, Vice President?
Look, I become, you and I talked about this in a different context before. I'm a great respecter of fate. I don't plan on running again, but you know, to say you know what's going to happen in 4 years, I just think is is not rational.
That is the sound of a door creaking open, is what that is.
Well, look, I mean, I can't see the circumstance in which I'd run, but what I've learned a long, long time ago, Stephen, is to never say never. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, hell, Donald Trump's going to be 74. I'll be 77 in better shape. I mean, what the hell?
Arm wrestling? Maybe arm wrestling?
No,
So-
I have no plans. I have
no
no
plans?
plans. But I'm going to stay deeply, deeply involved. Look, every morning I've gotten up since I've been 26 years old. There's been some issue. There have been issues I've been concerned about. My dad used to have an expression. He says, a lucky person gets up in the morning, puts both feet in the floor, knows what they're about to do, and thinks it still matters. I think this still really matters. There's things I care deeply about, from violence against women to whether or not we have a rational arms control policy. I mean,
Well, you've been, you've been in Washington in public service for over 40 years. What do you expect from the Trump administration?
now you're all going to laugh when I say this, but the honest to God truth is I don't know. And no, but I'm being deadly earnest here. I don't think the president himself knows for certain. No, and by the way, presidents who really knew why they were running and had thought they were going to win and planned, you get there and it's a different world. I'm telling you, it's a different world. I served in the Senate for 36 years. One of the reasons the president asked me to join him was because I allegedly knew a lot about the government. But all kidding aside, it is the largest corporation in the world. It is, if you're going to do it well, it takes you, 10 to 12 hours a day just absorbing information. And if you look at the people that Donald Trump has named so far, some give me great pause. But there's other people he's appointed in the administration that are very solid. Elaine Chao is fully capable of being a great Secretary of Labor. I mean, it's just, I don't think anybody knows for certain, but we have to be vigilant. And when, in fact, it looks like the administration is moving in a direction that is harmful or dangerous, or if I'm counting on President-elect Trump to tamp down this bitterness that is being promoted about everything from the LGBT community to African Americans to Muslims. I mean,
What do you make of a president or a president-elect who seems to be responding on the spur of the moment with tweets to personal slights, like attacking Alec Baldwin on SNL, or taking a moment to cancel an order from Boeing based on we don't know what? And, it seems a little mercurial.
Well, I can understand going late-night hosts. I can understand that. It makes a lot of sense to me to attack you guys. I mean, I don't know. No, look,
I'm afraid that's all we have time for.
Look,
Don't we want the steadiest possible hand?
We
and
do.
If a president is saying the first thing that occurs to his thumbs, that's a little unnerving.
Yes, it is. But, look, we got to do, look, let's assume the worst. It makes no sense to start this off without the rest of us saying we're going to give this guy an actual even shot. We're going to give him a clear shot to do the job. We're going to actually be there to work with him, and when he has good ideas, and challenge his ideas when they're not. But here's what I hope we get away from. I hope we get away from what is basically an ad hominem argument that takes place in politics today. It's always about the other guy's motive. It's always about what the other guy intends, and not so much what he thinks or what he's proposing, but the reason he did that is because of the following. I just don't think it gets us very far. There's enough, and one of the things going to happen, you're going to see the debate sharpen very, very drastically, because they're not going to be reporting about what he said on a particular show. I hope they're going to be talking about whether or not his idea to deal with trade makes sense, whether his idea to deal with building a wall makes sense. There'll be a real debate engaged, which never occurred in the last election. And I think, and quite frankly, unless he changes some of his views, I think it's going to be the reports of the demise of the Democratic Party are premature. I see it coming back in a big time in 2018.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
We'll be right back with more Joe Biden. Stick around, everybody.